there's many strategies out there, and a lot of people think you need plenty of money to get started in real estate investing. You need excellent credit. You need things of that nature. Let me tell you something. When I got started here in 2017, I moved here from New York City to Florida. 2017, I got my real estate license. I had no experience. I had zero money. I was in debt. I had negative money, and I had very, very poor credit. And nothing stopped me from achieving my ambitions, right? The hustle, the drive, the dedication. I mean, it wasn't an easy journey. It was a lot of hard work and dedication. But, you know, in the last 5 years, I was able to amass a $15 million real estate portfolio that nets me around $30,000 a month passively. And that's just the passive income. That's not to mention the active income of the wholesaling, the flipping, etc. But the main core bread and butter of the business is real estate acquisitions using the BRRRR method. And if you don't know, BRRRR stands for buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. This is essentially where I'm going to make up numbers just for argument's sake to make it simple for the audience. If you purchase a house for $100,000, you renovate it for $50,000, you're all in for $150,000. And let's say you don't have $150,000, so you borrow that money from hard money, private money, friends, etc. You promise them a certain interest rate. So let's just call it $10,000 or $15,000. So now you're in $100,000, $50,000 for the reno, and let's just say another $10,000 for the interest. Now you go ahead and rent this property out for, let's say, $2,000 a month. By renovating this property, you raised its value. It's now worth $225,000. You can go to a regular investor bank, refinance this property, get a 30-year loan. They'll give you up to 75% of the new value, which happens to be $168,000. So you close this loan with your hard money or private money, you return the $150,000 plus the $10,000 interest, and you're now left with essentially a free house. You didn't come out of pocket anything. You used other people's money to acquire the property. After a few months, you renovated it, you rented it out, you returned that money. You're left with a property that has about $70-something thousand in equity and is cash flowing. Let's assume your mortgage, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance come out to approximately $1,500 a month. You're now cash flowing $500 every single month net to your pocket, plus appreciation over time.
Cool.
You know, and equity.
Sounds too good to be true. I'd love to break down some of the stepwise elements of what you just went into there with flipping a house. You make it sound easy. My guess is it's not as easy as you make it sound. So let's go into kind of step one, which I guess identifying a deal, right? Where do you even find a good deal on a house? Where do you learn how to find a good deal? Talk to me about the deal aspect.
Right. That's such an excellent question. I'm so glad you asked that. People always ask me, Roy, how do you find these amazing deals? I do crazy deals. If you see the numbers on my deals, man, you're not going to believe them. It's almost too good to be true, okay? Yeah. But people always see all these amazing deals that I post on social media that I do, and they're like, how do you find all these amazing deals? And my response is always the same. Finding the deals is the easy part. Analyzing the deals is the easy part. It requires some practice, but it's still the easy part. I can go find deals right now and make tons of money. The hardest part, believe it or not, of this business is dealing with the contractors, okay? It's dealing with the other people that you need to deal with in order to get this business flowing, right? The contractors, and I call them contractors because I think, in my opinion, they're almost always con men. They always try to get you. They always try to manipulate the price. I mean, if you've ever done any sort of renovation, it's always something. There's always stories. So you got to learn how to get around that. Because if you want to scale this business like I have, and you want to sit there and do, 5, 10, 15 deals a month, you have to manage many different crews, which means many different problems. But as far as finding these deals, there's so many ways to find deals. There's anywhere from working with other realtors, door knocking, which is the essentials, bandit signs, which I don't recommend. And then there's finding deals on the MLS, which in my opinion would be second place. And the number one best place to find good deals is through direct mail and marketing, okay? The problem with that is that it's very expensive. So you got to make sure you know what you're doing. You got to make sure your marketing is top of your game. You have great, marketing campaigns. It is very expensive. You do have to know how to convert those leads, how to negotiate, etc. But that's where you can find some insane deals. Another way of finding deals is going to be through wholesalers. The problem from my experience with wholesalers is they themselves don't have the house at their acquisition price to be a good enough price for me to even want to purchase it. And the reason that they get away with most of their wholesaling is because there's no shortage of mom and pops out there who don't know how to run numbers, like you said, how to analyze the deals, and they rely on the wholesaler, they rely on the realtor, they rely on other people who tell them the house is worth 350 when it's actually worth 300, and that's how they end up getting screwed. Or they'll tell them the renovation is $15,000, in reality it's $60,000, and that's how they end up losing. So, you know, I created a course recently called Cash Flow Bootcamp. I was working on that day and night since September. It recently launched in late March, and essentially it's the #1 resource of its kind on how to get into real estate investing and how to scale a real estate investing business. It's everything that I wish I knew when I got started, right? So every mistake that I've made, trial and errors, experience, I mean, really all of it is just speaking from the heart and speaking of experience. In Cash Flow Bootcamp, we dive into the nitty-gritty of how to analyze those deals, which is the most important thing. If you're not on point with your ARV, the after repair value, or the actual value of the house, which is the starting point for analyzing any deal, you need to know what the end product is going to be worth before you can work your numbers down and come into the acquisition price.
Awesome. So the course is where people can go to learn more about how to find and analyze deals. I do want to ask one targeted question about your direct mail method. If this is the #1 way that you're bringing in deals, how does it work? Are you direct mailing people who do not have their homes for sale in hopes that they will sell, and you'll get a special price that they're going to open that sale for?
Right. So there's a whole chapter on direct mail in Cash Flow Bootcamp because, you know, oftentimes people think that it's just a matter of sending out mailers to a bunch of houses and it's that simple. In Cash Flow Bootcamp, we actually dive into what size paper, what thickness of paper, what's the texture of the paper, what's the font like, what's the ink color, what's the envelope like, is there a stamp, is there not a stamp, is it first class mail, third class mail, etc. There's so much that dives into creating a perfect mailing campaign, especially if you're going to spend $10,000, $20,000 a month on marketing. In order to convert that into deals and leads, you want to make sure that your marketing is the best marketing. And then the second part of your question is, who do you actually target? Many people, many other investors will tell you that they will target probates, they will target divorces, they will target, you know, very specific niches in the market. Me, I target zip codes. I exclude mobile homes, I exclude investor owned, but other than that, I go for everyone and everything. I found that to be the most, you know, the best form of marketing because
volume game. And you're offering to buy their home, or how does that?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm a local real estate investor. I'm looking to buy your house all cash. I'll make you an offer, you know, you can't refuse, an offer that nobody will beat. You know, there's a few more things that go into the campaign, but essentially sellers will call me and almost always it's the same concept. Hey, I got a bunch of letters in my mail, but you're the first one I called. Almost always, because they always end up liking mine. So, you know, I'm able to go to the seller. I always meet with the seller. I don't try to negotiate over the phone. I go to their house, I negotiate with them, and that's how you get, you know, a $300,000 house for $60,000.